Hello and welcome back to the Rough Draft Podcast. Oof, I'm excited for today. I have my friend and author Vanessa Grutman here with me, who is an entrepreneur, integrated health practitioner, speaker, and transformational mentor whose work sits at the intersection of body wisdom, consciousness, personal evolution, and modern leadership. After creating multiple seven-figure businesses and guiding thousands of women through profound health identity and life transformations, she became fascinated by a question. Why do so many successful women still feel disconnected from themselves? Her work helps women reconnect with their inner signal, reclaim their original light, and create lives that feel as good on the inside as they look on the outside. Vanessa is the founder of Golden Alchemy, a line of high-frequency products that support women on their ascension journey. Her brand, The Golden Alchemist, offers transformational programs, retreats, and experiences designed to help women alchemize their lives and remember the light they were born with. Woo! That is a lot. And born with this light, available today. So excited. And I can't even wait for this conversation because I had the absolute pleasure and honor of sitting through I call it a private reading. We were recording your audiobook, but it feels like a private reading to me because I get to sit and listen to the entire thing be read and reread for some paragraphs because we all know it's a process. But wow, the codes in this book, the codes in you, in your work, like everything that you offer the world is just so magical, for lack of a better word. Magic is what it feels like. So tell me everything. Tell me, I know you just got back from a trip. I know that this book was an absolute portal. Tell me all the things.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you, Sabrina, for having me. And thank you for, walking me through that portal because it's definitely a birth portal. We hear a lot about that, about, writing a book and how it's a journey. Mine, I always knew I would write a book. I've known this forever since I was a kid, but I never really asked myself what the book would be about. And when we were in the process of moving our family from Canada to to Miami in August 2025, it all started to come. As we were driving down, it was like I started to feel literally a pressure, when you're pregnant and you need to push. That's the pressure I started to feel. And I was like, wait, what is that? And I knew that something big wanted to emerge. So I opened my laptop and I started writing. And it flew out of me. I don't know if you remember, I sent you the final copy. I think it was on January 1st or December 31st or something like that. It was so meaningful. So literally like in 4 months, it came out of me. I still don't fully understand how. It was part channeled for sure. I was so guided on this process. I don't think a lot of, like, I think a lot of it is not even my words, meaning it's really strong. It's really powerful. And and then I sprinkled throughout it a lot of my stories or my client stories of what the process of remembering that we already have the light inside of us looks like. Because in my work, like you said in the introduction, I started my online coaching helping women reclaim their energy. And that was one thing. And then I actually healed my PTSD towards selling my first business. And I kind of merged the health with the business acumen that I have. And then I started to help women that were tremendously successful by the 3D world. They had the labels, the titles, the bonuses, the salary, the money, yet they were feeling an ache that they couldn't name. They were feeling that there was something off. They were feeling ashamed of not being grateful for the life they had created. They were feeling an itch and I remembered that because I felt that too. And so I started really being curious about, okay, what is this ache and why is nobody able to name it? Like literally nobody is able to put words on it. It's just a visceral soul-led feeling of there's more. There's more to this life. There's more you came here to offer. And that's really what the book is. It starts with my success on how it looked like, yet how I felt inside. And so I bring words to that ache. And then it's the process, the slow process of removing the masks and remembering who we were under all of these labels, under all of these, the shape shifting that we learned to do really early on. And it's, to realize that we've always had this light inside of us, that we've always had the codes, that it's already encoded in our DNA. Like, we don't have to look for a shiny object outside of us. We just have to quiet the noise and remove the layers that are in the way enough so that we can hear it. So that was the process of the book, which was exactly the process I was going through myself.
Yeah,
And yeah. So
I love.
it's I think it's really powerful. And what I like is it's the first part of the book is very grounded. So it's meaning it's very real life, 3D. We're talking about the body, the symptoms of the body, how to decipher that. We're talking about success and what it looks like. And as the book evolves, then we're going into higher dimensions and talking about, the soul and soul contracts and soul mission and yeah.
And I love that because I do feel like sometimes it feels inaccessible, almost
Yeah.
woo, people call it woo woo or think it's
Yes.
out there or
Yes.
think we've all lost our minds, frankly,
Yes,
because they
for
are so
sure.
embedded in the 3D, especially successful women, modern women, women with corporate jobs, women that are entrepreneurs. There's so much masculine energy out there for women. And I don't mean masculine as in gender, I mean the masculine doing. And
Yeah.
you speak to this in your book around, the masculine and feminine energies and really what that means. And you break it down. That's what I really love that about this book, because I have read books that feel slightly out there. And I think this
Hmm.
book can speak to the women that you were just mentioning that are
Yeah.
feeling the ache and don't really know what it is or how to name
Yeah.
it or how to move through it. And I believe that the whole world is waking up to this, like that something is changing, something massive is here. I feel it, and everyone I speak to feels it too. I work
Yes.
predominantly with women and women ages like 30 to 50 so it's somewhere in that group of women that we're all sort of feeling it collectively. Do you want to speak to that a
Yes.
little bit?
Yeah, and it's great because we need to. We need to, and this is right on time. I think we all incarnated, we chose to come here because we had this light, this wisdom, these codes that would be necessary when the old paradigm of success would crumble, which is what we're seeing right now, which looks like chaos in the world, which looks like, uncertainty, not knowing, where things are going to go, the rise of AI. It's a lot right now for the nervous system to be like, oh my gosh, everything I thought I knew is kind of crumbling. What's next? And if you're feeling that, it's because you're one of the ones that is meant to lay the foundation of what's next for our kids and the next generations. So I think, if you're feeling that, it's because you're part of it. You're part of this change, you're part of this shift. And so many women are being called forward right now, yet it's so interesting. And you're right, like there is not a single woman I speak to that doesn't feel it. And of course, it's because I magnetize those women, but here's what's holding them back. What's holding them back is it looks too good. And like you said, when it's not grounded, when there's not real living proof that this way of living actually is sustainable, that this way of thinking doesn't mean I'm going to be basically killing my livelihood. We need more women that are thinking and embodying this and having success the new way. We need that. We need it so desperately because we need prime examples to lead these women to say that, because it is a hard transition to go from the old to the new way of thinking because the old way is all about how it looks and the new way is all about how it feels. So if it looks good, but I feel really like I'm dying inside, that's not good. I need to feel like I'm expanding, I'm aligned, I'm contributing, I'm raising my impact. I need to feel like every day I wake up, I'm like, yeah, I get to add my drop into the ocean. I get to make a difference. If I'm not feeling that, I'm off. I'm still working, I'm still going through life based on how it looks. So that's why I think this book is really coming at a divine timing. And of course, because it's really also showing you how to ground this, how to not be just, and trust me, I just came back from Mount Shasta. I'm all about the galactic, like, let's go connect to the star families and all that. I'm all about that. But at the same time, I've realized that as women, we are of no help if we're not grounded, if our nervous systems are not safe, because if we're collapsing, if we're fracturing, which I've seen so many times taking people on sacred lands and myself going on sacred lands, it's very easy for the nervous system to be like, what is this? I'm out. And
Yeah.
then the whole body crumbles. So we don't want that. We want integration. We want this to be the new baseline. We need this to be the new reality, the possibility. And so, yeah, it's just so exciting.
It is so exciting. So share a little bit with us without giving away the book, because I know you share your story in the book, but like how did this work find you?
Hmm. Yeah, now I can say that, but it certainly didn't look like that at the beginning. Was always of the entrepreneurial mindset. I've tried to work in corporate. I've tried to do the jobs, and I was always not the troublemaker, but always the one that managers didn't know what to do with because I couldn't fit in a box. I had so much creative ideas. I could see what needed to be changed. I could see solutions. And of course, the institutions were pushing back. And so very, very early on, it was clear to me that I would not be working a 9 to 5. And I was offered an opportunity I was working for L'Oreal at the time, and sort of flirting with the edges of that box. And my manager knew it, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, she's not gonna stay here for very long." And so they tasked me to open the first flagship for one of their medical skincare brands, SkinCeuticals, in North America. They said, "Okay, this is what you're gonna do. That's gonna keep you busy and happy, and we're not gonna lose you." And I started building it, recruited the physician and his wife. And in doing that, I fell in love with the project, jumped shipped, and started building this clinic, which was a very innovative medical aesthetic clinics. Back in the days, that was in 2012. It was all about bringing skin health to the general public, making it more available, not just in your dermatologist's office. So, started this, opened multiple locations, and then we were approached by 4 companies in the same month to sell that business, which we had no intention to really. But when that happened, it all took us by surprise, and we were like, well, maybe this is a sign. Maybe we're supposed to be selling it. And so we did. And of course, we were promised that nothing would change, and we were promised that, we would keep our roles and all the things. And of course, that didn't happen. And my body knew it because when I signed the paper in my lawyer's office and then went into the elevator, and that's sort of how the book starts, my whole body went into this almost like it felt like exorcist, someone else was taking care of like taking charge of my body. I started shaking, I started sobbing. My husband was next to me, and I didn't really know what was happening. I had no words for it. And then literally the next day, everything had changed in the business, and I was asked to lead something that wasn't mine anymore, and I was asked to lead something in a way that wasn't aligned with my values. And so my body went into full shutdown. I burnt out. It was really a very difficult 4 years because that's what I had signed. I had signed a 4-year tie-in, which at the time felt like, I mean, I've been doing this for 7 years. What's 4 more? And that was the slow death inside of me, and that's how I became an integrated health practitioner to heal myself. And then women started flocking from everywhere. I was sharing the little bit of my stories on social media, and women would be like, "I see myself in your journey. I'm going through the same thing. Can you help me feel better like you're doing? Can you help me find my energy again?" And that's how it started, really. So it definitely found me. And then at one point, I had my first launch. I was like, "I'm going to offer this to the world." And I had an 80K launch. And I was like, "Wait, so am I becoming an online coach? Like, is that what we're doing?" And that's how it flew. And I never, ever had intended to become an online coach. In fact, I didn't know what that was. Back in the days, I didn't even know that was a thing. So it found me. And I'm so grateful it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Well, and I love going down these little rabbit holes of the coincidence versus
Yes.
like I actually wrote a Substack about this coincidence versus coincidence, like two incidents happening at once in
Yes.
the universe and like the little breadcrumbs of the universe. Because in the moment, and I love that you spoke to burnout because I hear this word every day, 5 times a day. Everyone I speak to is like burnt out, they're burning out, they're afraid of burning out, they have burnt out in the past and now they're healing from their burnout. Like I hear it so much every day. And how do you really feel about burnout? Like, do you think it's all real, or do you think it's the misalignment that you just spoke of? It's
Yes.
your
Oh
body
my
giving
gosh.
you signals.
Yeah. Well, okay. So burnout, is it real? The physical symptoms are real. Are the physical symptoms the end all be all? No. And I talk about this in the book. For me, the physical symptoms are only the red flags from the body, but the truth is intuitively you've been feeling the red flags for a long time. And so I think burnout is the result of not listening to our intuition and our inner voice for years, right? And it's so I think burnout is the symptom of self abandonment. And that's really how it played out for me. I had started to feel a misalignment that I completely ignored because it was scary, it was not convenient, because I didn't know what else, because I didn't know how, because right, like so I ignored it. It was easier, I thought, to ignore it. And that's what most women will do because they don't have enough models of what else is possible when we stop operating the way the world wants us to operate, right? And so, yeah, no, for me, burnout is simply a symptom. I will dare to say, and I mean, I said it in the book, but even like hormonal imbalances. The thing is, this is what I've learned again and again now helping women. The physical symptoms are never just it. I will say though, for me, the label I got was helpful because it was the slap in the face, that like the brick wall that stopped me from pretending. So I needed the label to make it real. And then after that, as I followed the breadcrumbs, I was like, oh, this is not what it looks like. I kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And it became very clear that it was just because I had pretended my intuition didn't matter. I had pretended that alignment was not possible for me in this lifetime. Right now, I was really playing this story of this is not how success looks like. And for me, I had LinkedIn. This is something I just released. Oh my gosh. We could talk about that, but I just came back from Mount Shasta, and that was my intention before releasing the book because I have been carrying this deep program inside of me, which I know many women will relate, that if it's not hard and if I'm not bleeding along the way, I will not be worthy of receiving success or receiving, period, receiving. Whether it is love, abundance, joy, happiness, ease, grace, flow, I cannot access this without suffering. That's my program that's been running in me for lineages, especially on my mother's side. And obviously that's big. It runs for a lot of women. So what that does is energetically and subconsciously, we actually create things, like we actually will manifest obstacles and things that are harder than it needs to be, like harder paths to get to the same outcome, just to be able to, for us to convince our psyche that we can receive the outcome that wants to be a match on the other side. And oh my gosh, I'm so sick and tired of that. I'm so sick and tired of that because it's so sneaky. And I thought I had released it, but with each new level, it always comes in a new way. But with this book launching, I was like, this is not coming in the books field. We are fully going into ease, flow, grace, and we are opening ourselves to receiving. And I am not going to arrive at the finish line like completely destroyed. This is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that also is a big story and a big program that plays out in the burnout reality. We manifest the burnout to give us, like, it's so crazy how the body and the universe works, right? So let's say you always say you're tired. Oh gosh, I'm so busy. I'm so tired. The universe doesn't know that this is negative for you. It just hears the vibration of these words. And so it gives you whatever is a match for that. Oh, okay, she wants to be tired. Oh, she wants to be busy. So it's going to send you more of that. And then first thing you know, you're like, I cannot get out of this loop. I'm stuck. I'm in this vicious circle. And of course you are, because the way out is to start embodying what you want on the other side. I am full of energy. I am excited for my work. I am walking in alignment. And so it's subtle. That's why I was saying it's so sneaky, and it sneaks in your way of parenting, in your relationship, in all the ways life wants to give you.
It's so
Yes.
interesting. It's so juicy, this conversation, because this comes up a lot. I get asked probably 5 times a day how I do all the things I do. Oh, you must be so busy. I'm sorry. I know you're busy. How's it, like, how do you do all the things you do? How do you juggle all the things? I've got 3 properties, 3 kids, 3 businesses. Like, it is a lot,
Yes.
but I love everything I do. And it feels good. And I still do have time for rest. And I don't feel like I have to earn my rest. It's not, and that used to be a code for me for sure, or used to be a program for me. I was very much like, oh, I need to work hard and blood, sweat, and tears, and then I can earn my rest. And oh, yeah, I'm so sick of it too. So I just let that go. And now everything I do, and if it doesn't, of course, there's things that have to get done that aren't always
Of course.
enjoyable. We've got to pay taxes. We've got to do the things that are human to live in a human world and be here. But the rest of it, it's so enjoyable. I love everything I do, and I make like
Mhm.
every experience joyful and exciting. And it's fun.
Yeah. And that's because you've allowed yourself to create your life by design. First of all, you are saying yes to everything that's in alignment. You're not restricting, you're not, putting yourself in a box. But also it's because I think maybe over the years you've realized through your hardships and your stories, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm meant to be sharing this. And I'm meant to become a book doula to walk women through this. It's writing a book is like an identity upgrade. It's an identity transition, right? So you walk women through this threshold because you've done it yourself. And so you've created a business around it. Right. And that's kind of the last part of the book also is like, okay, once you've remembered your light, what you're supposed to be doing, what do you do with that? You certainly create your livelihood, and you get to create it the way you want. And that's the piece that some women still have so much resistance, because we have been such great rule followers and people pleasers. And we're like, well, wait, what? Like, it can't be that easy. I can do whatever I want and shape my business the way I want and create my programs the way that makes me feel good. Yes, because the more you're in that prime state, the more your vibration is high, and the more you're magnetic, and the more your ripple is big, the more your impact is big. It's like it's like a very simple equation. Like I say in the
Yeah.
book, my kind of math.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Oh, Born with This Light, available now. Go get it. Go get your
Yes.
copy, because it's so good. And every chapter there's exercises you can do for yourself, how to embody this work. There's some beautiful quotes throughout. I'm so excited. So share with our listeners how they can participate today. I know you have an event happening. I know there's lots of things that go beyond the book. It's not like get the book and then you're done. So tell me all about that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the book is available also on audiobook with my own voice, because I know not everyone does that, but I went through that insane portal as well of receiving my own medicine for 3 intense, 10-hour days. So that was really epic. So if you're more an audio person and you want to listen to it while you're walking, I'm that kind of person also, that's available. 8/8 today was a very meaningful day to launch this book, because not only is it my birthday, my solar return, but it's also the Lionsgate portal, which is one of the highest vibration days to manifest and plant seeds of I am, right? And so it's to me, it was the day that made the most sense in the year. Even though, it's not perfect on paper, it's a Saturday, it's summer. But if ever you feel called to come, today I'm going to be hosting a ceremony, basically a Lionsgate ceremony, which I've been doing for 4 years now. And it'll be like a global live online event where, of course, I'll be sharing some codes of the book, but I'll take everyone through an activation. You can still sign up. You can find the link if you go to my Instagram at vanessa.grutman. The link is in the bio. Even if you can't make it live, you can register and get the replay. Just for the activation, it'll be worth it. That's for sure. And yeah, you're going to get to taste a little bit of, what this whole body of work is. Yeah.
Amazing. So, Amazon, everywhere where there's Amazon, there's Kindle version, there's the paperback version, and there's the audiobook version today. And then there's going to be a hardback version coming out over the next little while. And there's lots. Vanessa has a lot of follow up. So if you are loving this work and you want to know how to deepen it and you want to know how to go further beyond the book, because that's how I felt when I finished the book. I was like, what's next?
Yes.
I don't want it to end. Like, what do you mean that's the end? What? And not because it leaves you on a cliffhanger, just because it's so, the way it eases you into this work, and then by the end you're like, I'm ready to go to Egypt. I'm ready to go. Like, I want to do all the things. So
Yes.
I'm manifesting that.
Yeah, I think most people will be lit up like a Christmas tree by the end of
Yes.
it. And that's truly my desire. That's my hope. Because if you're lit up, you're going to make a difference even just in your home, like even if you're living alone, your plants will feel it. Like Mother Nature will feel it. And so this work is so, so, so important. And that's precisely the medicine the world needs to function again. Like back to community, back to love, back to ease and flow, and everyone in their right order.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything will be linked in the show notes. All of the links to reach out to Vanessa, to find Vanessa, and to buy this book today. So,
Yes.
is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with before we say goodbye?
Now, enjoy this ride. And if ever you read it and you purchase it, please come and say hello in my DM and let me know how you felt. That would be so meaningful to me. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.